Imagine this: a colossal warrior, feared throughout the land, towering to heights that defy the heavens, clad in a gleaming armor that reflects the sun. This is Goliath, the Philistine giant who threatened the peace of the people of Israel. Standing 6 cubits and a span tall, approximately 3 meters, Goliath was an imposing figure, covered in shining bronze armor and armed with a spear that resembled a weaver's beam, its iron point as sharp as a blade. Picture yourself standing before this giant, challenging him to a deadly duel. It's a scene that stirs intense emotions and makes us question, who would be brave enough to face such an adversary? If you are passionate about biblical stories full of adventure, courage, and faith, this is the place for you. I invite you to subscribe to our channel and leave your like to show your support. Get ready for an exciting journey through the pages of the Bible. On the battlefield, the giant Goliath raises his voice with a thunderous challenge that echoes through the valleys and mountains. With his gleaming armor reflecting the sun's rays, he stands before the army of Israel, challenging them to a representative combat. His strategy is clear: intimidate and demoralize the enemy army, sapping their will to fight before a single sword is raised. For 40 consecutive days, Goliath marches back and forth in front of the Israelite ranks, issuing his threats with ruthless determination. He calls for a champion, a man brave enough to face him in single combat. Every dawn and sunset, his booming voice echoes, challenging the courage and faith of the people of Israel. The ranks of the Israelite army tremble with fear at the imminent threat. While Goliath terrorizes the Israelite armies with his disdainful challenges, far from the battlefield, in a humble village in the hills of Bethlehem, a young shepherd named David receives an unexpected task from his father, Jesse. David is sent to bring supplies to his 3 older brothers, who serve in King Saul's army. David, a robust and courageous young man, accepts the mission with determination. He fills a basket with food. Upon arriving at the battlefield, David is greeted by the distant roar of Goliath and the tense murmurs of the Israelite soldiers. Witnessing the atmosphere of fear and despair that envelopes the camp, David feels an inner call to act. The young shepherd, who until then had been delivering supplies to his brothers in the army of Israel, could not help but feel indignant at the affront of the Philistine giant. In his heart, David knew something had to be done. After all, as a servant of God, he could not simply stand by while the glory of his people was challenged by such a fierce adversary. While the Israelite soldiers trembled before Goliath's imposing presence, David questioned aloud, "Who is this uncircumcised Philistine to challenge the armies of the living God?" His voice, though young, resonated with determination and fervor. He could not bear the thought of the Almighty Lord's name being dishonored by a blasphemer like Goliath. His mind was now fixed on a single question: what would be done for the man brave enough to face this giant? Driven by a sense of duty and unwavering faith in God, David set out to find King Saul. As he approached the royal camp, his mind was made up, his heart firm. He knew he had no experience as a soldier, but he trusted in divine protection to guide him through this seemingly impossible trial. When David finally met King Saul, he did not hesitate to volunteer to face Goliath. His voice, though firm, betrayed no sign of fear. Instead, it was filled with quiet confidence and unwavering determination. He said to the king, "Let no man's heart fail because of this Philistine. Your servant will go and fight with this Philistine." King Saul, surprised by the young shepherd's bravery, tried to dissuade him. He pointed to the obvious disparity between David, a mere youth, and Goliath, a fearsome warrior. However, David remained resolute in his decision. He explained to the king how, as a shepherd, he had already faced and defeated lions and bears to protect his flock. He firmly believed that the same God who had helped him in those battles would also help him defeat Goliath. With his courage and trust in God, David managed to convince King Saul to let him face the Philistine giant. This decision would not only change the course of the battle, but also seal David's destiny as one of the greatest heroes of faith. Despite the king's kind offer to dress him in his own armor, David knew his confidence did not lie in man-made weapons, but in divine protection and guidance. Humbly, David declined Saul's armor and chose to equip himself with what he knew best: a sling and a few stones chosen from the brook. As he prepared for the imminent battle, he fully trusted the Lord to guide his hands and direct his stones with deadly precision. His unwavering faith in God was his true armor, and he was ready to face the Philistine giant with all confidence. Before the imposing presence of Goliath, David remained calm and focused. As the Philistine giant advanced, brandishing his spear and mocking the young shepherd, David knew it was time to act. With the sling whirling quickly in his hand, he chose a smooth stone and launched it at the enemy with impressive precision. The stone flew through the air with a distinct whizzing sound and, in an instant, struck Goliath square in the forehead. The giant fell to his knees, stunned by the force of the blow, as blood streamed down his face. With renewed courage, David ran toward his fallen opponent and, using Goliath's own sword, cut off his head. The Philistine army, witnessing the fall of their champion, panicked and fled in disarray. The Israelite soldiers, inspired by David's heroic act, launched an attack and achieved a glorious victory over their enemies. David's victory was not just a military triumph but a vivid testimony to the power and faithfulness of God. Even in the face of overwhelming odds, the Lord stood by Israel, enabling a humble shepherd to defeat the most feared warrior of the Philistines. David's faith and willingness to trust in the Lord were rewarded with a triumph that would echo through the ages, inspiring future generations to trust in divine providence in the face of challenges. The story of Goliath, with his imposing stature and formidable combat skills, sparks curiosity about his origins. Some scholars raise the possibility that Goliath might have been descended from the Nephilim, the mysterious giants mentioned in ancient scriptures. Others suggest a connection with the Rephaim, a race of powerful warriors who inhabited the region of Gath, where Goliath was from. These theories fuel the aura of mystery surrounding Goliath. Regardless of his true origins, Goliath personifies the imminent threat and Philistine domination over Israel. Besides Goliath, the Philistines had a lineage of formidable warriors, including Goliath's brothers, whose ferocity matched that of the giant himself. However, even in the face of these additional challenges, the Israelites did not waver in their determination to resist Philistine oppression. Throughout Israel's history, many heroes emerged whose bravery and faith enabled them to face the most formidable giants. Divine intervention was often present in these battles, enabling the righteous to triumph over the forces of evil. David was not the only one to experience God's help. Others, such as Joshua, Gideon, and Samson, witnessed miracles that ensured Israel's victory over their enemies. During the battle against the Philistines, the loyalty and quick action of Abishai, David's friend, stood out as examples of bravery and commitment to their king. When David faced Goliath on the battlefield, Abishai was by his side, ready to protect him at all costs. His readiness to intervene in moments of imminent danger demonstrated his deep respect and devotion to David as a leader and friend. When Goliath threatened David with his intimidating presence, Abishai did not hesitate to intervene, bravely stepping into the front line to protect his king. His quick and decisive action was crucial to ensuring David's safety and allowing him to focus on facing his formidable opponent. Abishai's loyalty did not go unnoticed by David and his people, and he was honored as a hero who risked his own life to save his king. This demonstration of loyalty and courage inspired others to follow his example and strengthened the bonds of camaraderie and trust within the Israelite army. Saph, one of the giant descendants in the Philistine city of Gath, embodied the terror the Israelites faced. His colossal stature and horrendous reputation distinguished him among the Philistine warriors, posing an intimidating challenge to the armies of Israel. His presence in battles was a constant reminder of the imminent threat the Israelites faced, fueling fear and insecurity among the people. Saph's imposing figure had a profound psychological impact on the people of Israel. His size and strength, combined with the reputation of his family of formidable warriors, generated a sense of helplessness and uncertainty among the Israelites. The mere knowledge that Saph and his brothers were among the Philistine ranks was enough to shake the confidence of Israel's army and instill fear in their hearts. The sons of God, in Genesis 6 verses 1-4, have been the subject of interpretation and debate over the centuries. A common interpretation is that these sons of God are fallen angels who rebelled against God, taking human form and mingling with human women. The Nephilim, descendants of this union, are often seen as beings of great stature and power, frequently interpreted as a race of giants. This interpretation suggests an unnatural mixture between celestial beings and humans, resulting in a powerful and possibly even malevolent offspring. The impure marriage between the sons of God and the daughters of men is seen as a violation of divine order and an unacceptable blend of two distinct lineages. This union is often interpreted as an expression of the corruption and moral decay of humanity at that time. This impure marriage is considered one of the main reasons that led God to decide to send the flood to purify the earth and start anew with Noah and his family. In closing this video, I hope you have been inspired by the story of courage, faith, and trust in God. David teaches us that, regardless of the size of the challenges we face, we can overcome them with determination and confidence in the divine power that is by our side. If you enjoyed this content and wish to follow more inspiring stories from the Bible and spiritual reflections, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate the bell to receive notifications of new videos. Your participation is crucial in helping us share the message of hope and faith with more people.